All right. So, Shanda, you said you're just going to watch. Kimberly, do you have all your ingredients and you going to participate?
I do pretty much.
Okay. Well, just let me know if there's something you don't have and I can and see if it's a big deal or not. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the Instapots and then we'll make the other things while our chicken is cooking in the Instapot. And do you have an Instapot, Kimberly, or are you doing crock pot?
I have a crock pot, but I started the chicken this morning. So.
Okay, awesome. All right. And then Shanda, do you have an Instapot?
I do.
Okay, have you used it much? Do you know how to use it?
A little bit. I've done the pressure cooking a little bit.
Okay, it's my favorite way to make dinner.
I know, that's why I'm watching this because I'm like, I need to use it more.
I probably use it 3 to 4 days a week. So, and I actually owned my Instant Pot for probably a year or 2 before I learned how to use it. And then once I learned how to use it, I'm like, awesome, okay, this thing's great. And pretty much I've never, ever used my crock pot since then. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw all the chicken in, and actually you can turn your oven on for the tostada to start warming up for the tostada pizzas. And this is what I use for the tostada pizzas. If you've never tried these, I really like them because they're high in protein. However, you can use whatever you want. Like I usually get these from Costco for my kids because they don't care about the high protein and like the lower carbs. And so I'll do the same thing with these pizzas for them, and then save these ones for Chris and I. Each one of these has 9 grams of protein in it, which is pretty, sorry, 6 grams of protein in it, which is pretty awesome. And they're only 9 grams of carbs. So I really like these. So I'm going to turn my oven on to 425 and let it warm up as we get the chicken going. Your chicken is, most of these recipes are from Lily Eats and Tells. She's one of my favorite macro girls because all her food tastes really good and it's super big, like the serving sizes are big. So I don't ever leave feeling hungry. Like I don't ever want to sit down to dinner and then finish and be like, I could eat more, you know? So that's what I really like about her stuff. Like last night we made the pulled pork, her pulled pork sandwiches. They're so good. And it's like a big, huge sandwich. And I usually serve it with like a side salad and sweet potato fries. And it's so yummy. So have you tried that with Amanda?
I just need to go to your house and have you feed me. I haven't tried it. And I've meant to get her cookbook or look that up online, and I just haven't yet.
And a lot of her recipes are free on her website. Like the pulled pork sandwich is one of those ones that you can find on her website for free. This one, she has a ton that are free. And then there's a handful that are in the cookbook that aren't on her website. Like the, she has a buffalo chicken one that I love, and that one's only in her cookbook, but I've shared it on our nutrition page a couple times. I've shared that recipe, and if you want it, I can send it to you, but it's one of my favorites.
And it's called buffalo chicken, is that what you said?
Yeah, creamy buffalo chicken. And it's so good because you can throw it on a salad. You can make a wrap out of it. Like I eat it a lot of different ways because it has so much flavor. I really like that one. So, okay, I'm gonna kind of go through this this part fast, just since you have already done yours in your crock pot, and then Shanda, you'll be able to figure this out. So the first thing you're gonna do is, and some of these are different. I have the big one, the 8, I think it's 8 quart. So the buttons might be a little bit different, but yeah, I always do manual. I don't ever follow like the chip or whatever like that. I always do this manual. So first I'm gonna just hit pressure cook, and that'll turn it on. And then I'm gonna change the time, and some of them might have an on button. Oh, hold on, we got somebody trying to join. One second. Admit.
No lights.
Yeah, I don't know. Jimbo.
Oh, cool. We got a bunch of people on
Awesome.
Facebook too.
Okay. Hopefully he can see us soon. So you're gonna turn on your pressure cooker, whether there's an on button or it might just say pressure cook. So turn that on. Hold on, I gotta turn it off again so that you can see the timer. And then you're gonna change the time to 12 minutes. If you have, this is for if your chicken tenders or chicken breasts are thawed. If they're frozen, it takes maybe about 5 minutes longer. So today I have thawed chicken tenders, and chicken tenders are obviously going to cook a lot faster than chicken breasts. And actually it's really not a lot. It's like maybe a few minutes. And you kind of will learn how to play with your Instant Pot and see. But I always tend to err on a little bit longer because I've had times where I'll pressure it and cook it and then I can't shred it and I have to turn it back on.
Yeah.
That's annoying. It only takes like 5 more minutes, but it still has to get to pressure. And that takes 5 minutes or so. So now it's on. Mine smells like barbecue pork sandwiches because that's what we made last night. So hold on, and then I don't know if you guys know, but the ring, you can remove this ring and throw it in the top rack of your dishwasher. Especially if you are cooking with liquid smoke, it's going to really like settle in that ring. So like the next few things you cook might smell like liquid smoke. Okay, so now that I got that in there, so I'm going to, I forgot a mixing bowl, hold on. All right, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw all these ingredients in a mixing bowl. So the first one is my salsa verde, and I just use whatever, like I like the Herdes, but I also buy the Trader Joe's brand, whatever you can find. So it's 1 cup of that. And then the onion, my trick for onion is frozen diced onion. This saves me. It allows me to throw my dinner in super, super fast. And the one thing I like about that is that she'll tell you how much it weighs. So like a half a cup is 170 grams. So I'll just get my food scale and zero it out. And then just throw in 170 grams. Perfect. And then.
And no tears.
No tears.
Yeah.
No, that's the best part. And then the other trick that I love is frozen garlic cubes. They come, 1 cube is garlic clove, and these are at Fry's or Trader Joe's. I just pick up like, every time I go to Trader Joe's, I buy like 6 or 7 of these. And I just keep them in the freezer, and it's so easy. Especially because Lily Eats and Tells uses a lot of garlic. She'll have like last night, the pulled pork sandwiches had 8 cloves of garlic in it. I'm not there and squeeze 8 cloves of garlic. Like, this saves me. All right, so I'm actually just gonna do the garlic right now. I'm gonna do it a little bit out of order. So they just pop out, they're so easy. There we go, done. 5 cloves of garlic. That's done. And then also, if you ever make anything with basil, they make them in basil too.
Oh.
I think I got it Fry's.
Oh.
Is that just in the freezer section? Wow.
Yep, like by the bagged frozen vegetables. Yep. Okay, so now we have 2 tablespoons of honey. You can use any honey you want. You're just gonna throw it in there.
You've blown Kimberly's mind with the frozen garlic, by the way. She loves garlic.
I know. It was Coach Amy who taught me about the frozen onions, and I felt the same way. I'm like, oh my gosh, this saves me. In fact, my neighbor just texted me last night. She's like, hey, I just got my groceries delivered and they accidentally threw in 3 extra onions. Do you want them? I'm all, nope, I don't. That means I would have to cut them. And so I told her, I'm like, I just got frozen onion. And she's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll chop them up and freeze them. I'm like, yeah, you can do that. All right, so now we have 2 teaspoons chili powder. And you guys, I mean, Kimberly, I can't remember if you know or not, but we have 5 kids. And so whatever I can do quickly is what I do. And so
Yeah.
that I like about her recipes is I just can, they're pretty simple as far as like ingredients. It's mostly just spices and then like onion and garlic.
Awesome.
So let's see, 1 teaspoon cumin, oregano. This thing keeps beeping at me because it's telling me it's burning because it's on and I don't have anything in there. And then 1/2 teaspoon paprika. And I get kind of lazy when it comes to spices, and I'm not gonna go get a 1/2 teaspoon, I just guess.
That's what I did this morning.
Okay, so now that's all put together. I'm just gonna mix it a little bit. When you use frozen stuff, like the honey will get like kind of clumpy, and it's gonna clump to this. So sometimes I'll do like a glass bowl and I'll microwave it a little bit just so the honey distributes a little bit better. But I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna scrape it off. Okay, so I'm going to spray the bottom of my Instapot with cooking spray. And then I'm just gonna toss these bad boys in there. Chris, will you bring me that garbage?
I was trying to give you all the camera.
That's good.
All right, and then just pour this over the top. So a really quick piece of information that I had to learn the hard way is sometimes when you use the Instapot and you're cooking with honey, it will say it's gonna burn. And so what I'll do is I'll add like this much water to the bottom. And then it usually takes care of it. Because if your Instapot blinks and says it's burning, it'll turn off cooking. So that sucks. Okay, so now that it's in, I'm just gonna, like the Instapot's great. I mean, I can lock it with 1 lid. It's not like the old school pressure cookers where you had to like make sure it was correct in the right spot. It's like super easy. Making sure that this is to seal, and then it's just gonna pressure. And once it gets to pressure, it'll tell me how many minutes it's gonna count down. So once it gets to pressure, it'll beep, it'll say 12 minutes, and then it's gonna count down. And as soon as the 12 minutes is over, it'll beep again. And then some recipes will call for a natural release. Most of the recipes I use call for an instant release. So I'll just switch the vent thing and all the steam will come out and I can take the lid off. And then I'll show you how I shred my chicken in my Instant Pot. It's like, takes about 30 seconds and it's fantastic. So, all right, so while that's cooking, we're gonna move on to the creamy cilantro lime ranch. So if you have your ingredients for that, I'm gonna switch some of this stuff out. So I'm gonna use my Vitamix for this, but you honestly can use, like if you have one of those Bullet or Ninjas or anything that will emulsify, you can use anything. So this recipe makes kind of a lot. So Shanda, for you, like, and even Kimberly, if you guys are cooking for a lot of people, or if you don't want to give half of it away, I would cut this recipe in half.
Okay.
I've never tried freezing it, but you may be able to do that. I don't know. But usually when I make this, I give half of it to my girlfriend that I know likes it. So you're going to start with mayo. So I just use, hold on one second. I'm going to switch some of this stuff out.
Let's see.
creamy for the salsa. Probably. Oops.
So we're going to start with 1 cup of mayo. Really quick though, I'm recording now.
Okay, I'll turn this on. Okay, try it.
Really quick, if you guys don't have time to make this, but you have like a light dressing on, or you, like we love Mexican food. I eat Mexican food a lot. I'll throw together a salad really quick all the time. So I found this at Costco, and it's very similar to what we're making. I love it. The macros are really good. For 2 tablespoons, it's 3 grams of fat and 2 carb. So the macros are awesome. But if you're in a bind and you don't want to make this dressing, this is a good substitution.
So what is the name? I see the crema.
It's Don Poncho's is the brand, and it's cilantro lime crema.
Okay.
I can hear this thing go. Okay, so we're going to start with 1 cup of mayo. And I just use Best Foods, like the light mayo.
My family's against anything creamy for some reason.
Wow. So then you could just do the salsa.
That's what I was gonna do is the salsa because Phil hates mayo and so does my oldest daughter. And funny. White creamy, they're out.
Okay, so we have 1 cup of that, and then 1 cup of fat-free milk. I have used almond milk. I've used mostly, I mean, we don't drink a lot. We don't really drink milk in our family. We do almond milk for the most part. So every once in a while, I will buy milk for recipes, but I feel like it usually goes to waste. So I have used almond milk in this. If you're like strictly tracking macros, the macros will be pretty similar. But I'm not tracking macros right now. I'm just mindfully eating. And I pretty much just try and follow the same style of eating that I would if I was tracking. So if I don't measure or weigh perfectly, you know why. It's because I'm not like, if I were actually tracking, I would like weigh out my ingredients. Okay, so we've got that, and then we're gonna use 1 packet of ranch seasoning. So I buy my ranch seasoning in the big thing like this. 3 tablespoons is a packet. So I just measure out 3 tablespoons and throw it in.
Gotcha.
My kids actually really don't eat this dressing either. It's Chris and I. But this is really good on like tacos. Like I put it on whatever Mexican food I can eat. It's good. Okay, so then we have that. And then we are going to do 1/4 cup of salsa verde. So again, I just use whatever is left over from the cilantro lime ranch.
Yeah, we can just even use garlic and salt.
Jared, I saw you.
He left because you didn't acknowledge him.
He's feeling left out.
Looks good in the tie.
Okay, and now this is where you get to decide how spicy you want it. Again, my kids don't really eat this, and so I just go ahead and use the whole jalapeno. But you can do it however you want. And I just kind of roughly, I take all the seeds out. That's the spicy part. And I just roughly chop it because it's going to get blended anyways. Then 2 cloves of garlic.
You hear that? Too.
and a lime. So this one's kind of big. So I usually will just kind of roll the lime to get it kind of juicy. And then I don't know if this is like common knowledge, but I just use a fork and like poke it. And then stick the fork in like that and squeeze it around it. And that's how I juice my lime. So it gets it pretty good. Like I've got most of the juice out of it.
Mm-hmm. Did you cut it in half or did you just okay? Yeah. Oh, I got it.
And then you've got your, some people really like cilantro and some don't. I love cilantro. So you can decide how much you want to pack your half a cup. Like you can really push it down or you can just loosely pack it for the ranch. Okay, easy as that. Whoops.
Grabbing third in the backstretch.
Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then I have, hold on, sorry, I'm not super prepared with my, I don't have my little squeezy bottle, but I have like a squeezy bottle that I'll just pour that in and then keep it in the fridge that way. But you can do it however you want. I wish you guys were here so you could taste it. So.
And spray roasted tomatoes diced.
Do we have those?
They should be in the bottom.
Okay, so that's done. Our pressure cooker's doing. It's starting to steam, so I think it's going to be up to pressure pretty soon. So we're going to move on to my salsa recipe. So, Shanda, you've had my salsa, right?
Yeah, it was good.
So this is a recipe that has been in my family since I was little, and I wish I could claim it as ours, but we got it from somebody else. So we've doctored it up a little bit. Shanda knows this already, but Kimberly, my sister, had cancer last year, and so we did like a fundraiser for her and sold the salsa, and so I had to like learn how to turn this little recipe into a ginormous recipe.
Oh, wow.
How I made it better. I don't know how, but I was like, this is so good. And so now it's kind of our thing. Like probably a few weeks ago, I was feeling like I needed to stop thinking of myself and like how hard this quarantine has been. And so I just went to Sam's Club and I got all the stuff I needed for salsa, and we made a bunch of jars of salsa and bags of chips, and we took them to all the neighbors. And that was really good for like my kids and I to just be like, okay, let's see what we can do for others for now, because it just like gets very overwhelming if you're always thinking how this is affecting you. You know what I did? I didn't put my liquid smoke in.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. That sucks. Well, maybe I can add it later.
That's great, so don't worry.
You know what happened? So I printed my recipe out, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but where it says liquid smoke, it was a different color. It was like blue, and I printed in black and white, and so it didn't print that.
Oh.
It says 1 tablespoon, but it doesn't say of what. I forgot my liquid smoke, but whatever, it's okay. We'll improvise. So if you don't have liquid smoke, you can still make this. Okay, let's move on to our salsa. Move this. So I like to use a food processor, but I've made it in a bulky time. So it's really up to you how you want to blend this and also how chunky you like it. So I used to like it really blended, and then I started using a food processor and decided I liked it with a little bit more chunk. So blender will work fine. Kimberly, do you have a blender or a food processor?
Food processor.
Okay, yay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is start with the green onions and the cilantro. I'm gonna chop those up first. So there is not really a science to this. Like I wrote down 6 green onions and 3/4 a bunch of cilantro, but I kind of just go by the way it looks. So when I do cilantro, I cut most of the stems off. And then I just have like the leafy part. And then I just loosely chop it. So maybe like 3 cuts. And I throw that in. And then the green onions, I use almost the whole thing. So I'll cut these parts off at the end. Throw those away. And then I just, again, loosely chop it. So like they're pretty big chunks. You can see this. They're not like, I'm not dicing it. I'm just cutting it in like 1-inch sections. Throw those in. And then I just pulse it. I'm going to try and show you the consistency.
Oh, put it in there, son.
So this is what it looks like after I've chopped it.
Ooh, that smells good.
Okay. Next, I will actually, I think what I like to do is empty this into a bowl because then it doesn't get more chopped up. So I'm going to grab a bowl.
We have Jody Rinky and Jody Soul watching right now.
Hi, guys. Okay.
And a bunch of other people have been talking.
Okay, so then you're gonna add your tomatoes. So my favorite tomatoes that I couldn't find were, I like to use the fire roasted tomatoes, and I'll just do 2 cans of 14-ounce fire roasted tomatoes. That's my favorite. I couldn't find them, so I'm just using 1 large can of diced tomatoes today. And when I make the big, I can send you the big recipe too. It makes like 8 or 9 little jars, the pint jars. I will go to Sam's Club and buy the big, huge can of diced tomatoes when I make those. So you're gonna throw your tomatoes in, throw your green chilies in, and then this is what gives it the spice. So this is when you want to decide how much of this to use. I used to use 3/4 of a can, and now I just throw the whole thing in there because I like it spicy, and my kids have gotten used to it spicy as well. So I just throw this whole thing in. The nice thing about El Pato though is you can start small. You can do half of the can, and then taste it. And if you don't, if you want more, you can add more to it after you've blended everything. So do that, and then 1 tablespoon of garlic salt.
How spicy is this?
And then 1/2 of a lime. This is the juicy lime. If you guys like it really a lot of lime, you can always add more. Lime is something that I've added recently. I used to use a lime. So then again, you're just gonna pulse it and make it chunky. And then add it to your greens. Want to be the taste tester?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll give it a shot. No, I just bought it. You're done. And then this is the consistency of mine. Hopefully you can see it.
These are our favorite.
And these are my favorite chips from Trader Joe's. I love the blue corn tortilla chips.
I can see how, no. I was the official taste tester during the cancer
Since the salsa
salsa
fundraiser.
How's your sister doing?
She's good now.
Good.
Her hair's growing back, and she got the clear about a month ago.
Oh, great.
Yeah, very happy.
So good.
I know what we're having for lunch.
Yes.
Actually, I have a spoon right here. I got it.
So while you finish up yours, I'm just gonna clear my area for the tostadas.
Remind me what kind of cancer she had again?
She had what was it? Lymphoma. She had a mass in her spleen, and then she ended up having several lymphs throughout her body that had some issues. And then after she finished her treatments, they'd done another PET scan and found some spots in her jaw. And they had to go in and do a biopsy, and luckily it was fine. And then she had to have like some polyps removed in her colon and stuff like that. But she's all good now.
Wow, that's great.
You know,
How scary.
I know, especially because she's only 38, 37. She's 37. Yeah.
So does it make the rest of you nervous?
No, I mean, it makes us more aware. Like my older brother, he just told us the other day that he went and got some spots checked out that he thought might be skin cancer, and they were. And he just got a procedure done where he had to get all those carved out. And so I think it just makes us more aware, and it'll help us to not like blow things off if we do feel something weird. You know, just go get them checked out. How's it taste, guys?
It's really good.
Really good.
Yay!
Wow.
Awesome.
It's got a lot of different flavors to it. That's really great.
Yeah. So they have, I don't know, when you were looking for the El Pato, did you see the green can?
Yeah, I got that because I couldn't find the yellow, but then I found the yellow somewhere else.
So I personally like the yellow can best. But if you want to try something different, you can always try the green can. I need to experiment a little bit more with like maybe using jalapeno and fresh garlic and stuff instead of like, I think when my mom was making this, like we had a big family and she would just do whatever was quick and fast and cheap.
Yeah.
That's why we use garlic salt and not real garlic, and that's why we use el pato and not jalapeno. So anyways, all right, so this only has 2 minutes left, so let's move on. And
Ooh. Yummy.
Courtney said this.
Yeah.
my friend.
Oh.
Okay. So we're going to do the tostada. So I did have somebody ask if you could do, like make this gluten-free, and the only difference is this. So if you can find a gluten-free pita, and that's great. Everything else is fresh ingredients, so they should be gluten-free. You can, yeah, make sure you have gluten-free tortilla chips and you're good. So what I'm gonna do with this is, all I'm gonna do is take these out and use my cooking spray, which is right here, and spray the back sides of them and throw them in the oven. Maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and I just throw it straight on the rack.
Wait, I'm sorry. So the sprayed, it's facing the rack where,
Facing up.
Right.
So I spray it, face them up, just so they get crunchy on one side.
okay.
Yep.
What spray is it?
And I just use olive oil cooking spray.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna use, so I buy this at Trader Joe's, but this is another Trader Joe's find that I absolutely love. We go through these really fast because we do bean and cheese burritos, like that's like kind of a staple in our house. So these are black beans with jalapeno in them, and it's not super spicy, it just has a really good flavor. So if you're not macro tracking, this is the one I would do. If you are, then I would probably do this one, because this one, it's got a lot of flavor. I think it has salsa mixed in with it or something. It has a ton of flavor and it goes a long way. So either one is totally fine, or any black beans, or they don't have to be black beans. We kind of just always have black beans in our house. So we're gonna use that, and then I ran out of the Trader Joe's reduced fat Mexican blend cheese, but that one's my favorite, is the Trader Joe's brand. So I just picked this up at Safeway, and I almost always do reduced fat shredded cheese because to me the flavor is the same, but the protein is a lot higher. So like if you see, I did buy regular for my kids. So the difference is this has 9 grams of fat, this is 6. This has 8 grams of protein, and this is 6. So this is going to be higher in protein, lower in fat. This is going to be higher in fat, lower in protein. Okay. So there's little tricks on how to get more protein in your diet without getting the fat up. So we're going to have that. And then your avocados. Everybody like avocados? No one's allergic? Okay, cool. This, you can slice them, but I feel like I always do guacamole. So I'll teach you how I do my guacamole. It's pretty easy, but. Okay.
You're in charge with the writing.
So we have a big family, so I'll probably do 3 of these. I found large, the really big avocados on sale last week for 77 cents.
Wow.
So that's a good price.
Another group.
Somebody taught me this on how to get a pit out. You just like hit it with a knife and then twist and they come right out. That was cool. So this is done, but it's okay to let it sit. You can pressure it right away, let the pressure go right away, but you don't have to. All right. So there's no real science to this. I kind of just add whatever I have. If I'm making salsa, I always add my salsa to my guac
Oh.
after I mash up the avocados. And then you should have a half a lime left too. So I'll add that to the guac too. Can you tell I like Mexican food?
How can you not?
Yeah. It's funny though, because Chris and I were like, our date night had turned into grab takeout and shut ourselves in our room with a movie. Tell the kids to put themselves in it. And we were like trying to think of what we wanted to eat. And for some reason, both of us were, I think we'd probably had Mexican food almost every night this week.
Every night.
We're like anything but Mexican food. And that doesn't happen very
That's pretty
often,
rare.
but that's how we were feeling. Okay, I'm gonna mash these up and then I'm gonna take out those pitas that are in the oven.
Have a chip and some salt.
Yeah, try this. Try it. Just now. Okay. I know.
Okay.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Is there cilantro in there?
Yeah. And green onion. I like it.
So you can see that they're kind of crunchy on one side. So that crunchy side is going to be the down side. It's going to be the bottom of the pizza, okay? And from here, you guys can kind of build it however you want, but first I'm going to start with just putting like a small layer of beans on, just like you would like a tostada. I would just put a small layer of beans on and evenly spread it. The other day I made these and I didn't crunch, like I didn't cook the back side, and they were still really good, but they were hard to hold. Like my kids they were like falling apart a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So just take the few minutes to crunch the back side. Okay, I'm going to show you how I shred my chicken. They have mixer in the So we're going to release the heat. And then once it's released, the lid will open really easily.
That's what I do all the time. I get my hand in the way.
Yeah. Normally I don't have it facing away from this, so I've never really had that happen before.
I guess that's true.
Okay, so I just use a hand mixer to shred the chickens in the pot. I'm gonna actually pick up the camera for a second and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so that's before we've shredded it. It smells so good, huh, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna put you down and then I'll show you what it looks like after. I don't remember who taught me this, but again, another life hack that I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. I put it in the mixing bowl and do the same thing.
Yeah. And that's what I used to do. I used to take it out of my crock pot or my Instant Pot and put it in my mixer. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? I just need more dishes.
Agreed. One more thing to clean.
I dare add the liquid smoke? What do you guys think?
Do it.
Should I just
Taste
add?
it. Taste it first, then see.
That's a good idea.
Might be better without it.
I'll let it cool off. So this is where you're gonna add your cilantro, and I'm just gonna guess because this is how much I have left over. So that's what's gonna, I'm gonna save a little bit because I'm gonna put it on top of my tostada. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll bring it over here really quick
Sure.
and show it.
Just wanted to show it.
Oh, it's pretty good even without it. So shredded in less than a minute.
Wow,
It's pretty awesome.
that's great.
Looks good.
I think I'm gonna leave it out. It's pretty good, even though I like it with it. Okay, so now if you're macro tracking, this is where you'll put your tostada on your scale, zero it out, and then add your protein. And Lily Loves Macros, or Lily Eats and Tells, same person. So her website is Lily Eats and Tells, but on Instagram, she's Lily Loves Macros, just so you guys know.
Okay.
She is really good on how to weigh stuff. She always does it by grams. So she'll say like 114 grams of protein or 130 grams. And I really like that because measuring and weighing is not the same thing. So I'm just gonna load these up because protein on Sunday is definitely harder for me to get in. So I'm not even gonna measure, I'm just gonna load them up. I hope you want this for lunch because I think
It's making me hungry.
Well, you're mindfully eating.
yes,
I like that term.
I know, and that's the whole point of macros, and that's what I try and teach people. Is that we're not supposed to track forever. We're supposed to teach ourselves how to mindfully eat. And then same thing with the cheese. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit on top. And then I'm gonna throw them back in the oven for like, I don't know, 2 minutes. And I just am putting it straight on the rack. I mean, you could put it on a thing, but if I'm making them for my whole family, I'll put them on a cooking sheet. It'll be easier. So we'll throw that in, and then we'll finish up our guac. So I just put like, I don't know, this is 1/4 cup, and that was 3 avocados. And then I'll probably throw in some cilantro. And then I do garlic salt, salt and pepper. And then I'll do that line. This line is so juicy. They keep spraying me.
She said she had more.
I have a weakness for guacamole, that's for sure. Oops. Okay, I'll show it to you. So that's my guac.
Yum.
And I like it kind of chunky. I love green onions too, so sometimes I'll throw in green onions. But I am going to wipe my station, and then I'm gonna dice up some green onions for the top of our tostada.
So that was what was hard with macros for me, was the fat content. And so I love avocados, but I have to be careful.
Yep, I know. So if you love avocados, I would find other ways, because avocados, you actually can have quite a bit and the fat isn't too bad. Like meaning you could have like 1/2 of an avocado and you'd still be fine, you know? And I know once you mash it up, that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you really like the flavor of avocado, a little bit goes a long way. So if I'm tracking, I will probably slice avocados and lay them on top of my tostada instead of making guac because I feel like it will cover more area.
Salsa kind of adds to it too.
Uh-huh.
If you're making the guac.
Okay, those are looking almost done. So sometimes I'll trick my kids, and most my kids will eat almost everything. I have one that's a picky eater, so she loves Mexican food. So I usually just let her build her own. But like when I do tostadas, I will build their tostada the same way I would build mine. And then half the time they're like, I don't like it like that. I'm like, let's just try it. And then they'll eat it. So I'll put like the cilantro, green onions, cabbage, I'll do it all. Okay, got my green onions. Let's check these out. Oh yeah, those are ready.
Oh man, let me pick it up.
Wish we could make the smell go through the camera.
I'm so
It's
hungry.
making me really
I
hungry.
know, I'm so hungry. Okay, so Chris, will you give me a couple plates?
Yep.
So now you're just gonna build it however you want. Like she has very specific directions. Like she has her own pico de gallo that she'll make. Again, I just do my salsa. She has, have you guys tried cotija cheese, like the Mexican cheese?
At a restaurant, but I haven't found it at home to bring
Yeah.
home.
I almost
Same.
have some in my fridge and I didn't have any. So I tried finding it last night. I couldn't find it, which is weird. I'm not a huge sour cream person, so I don't do sour cream or Greek yogurt, but a lot of people will, but I'm totally fine without that. So some of her things, I'll do the avocado. I kind of just build it on my own from here on. So I'm gonna do, actually, I think I'll do the guac first. And then I'll do some of the avocado or the salsa and then spread that.
She pulled it up.
And then I'll sprinkle it with cilantro. Actually, I like to put cabbage on mine. Or if you have shredded lettuce, that works too. You can tell this is my first rodeo. I'm like, keep leaving the camera. Sorry.
You're good.
Doing great.
I'm already wondering what next week's master class
Hey,
Sunday.
how about
Tiersa.
you guys vote? Because I got lots of recipes. You just got to tell me what you want.
Maybe a treat, a
Oh,
healthy treat.
healthy treat?
Yeah, we know it.
I know lots of unhealthy treats.
I know, I'm like, are there healthy treats?
Yeah.
We have one that we really like.
The balls?
Yeah, the cashew.
Yeah. You've tried those, Shanda, haven't you? The cashew coconut balls?
Yeah, those were good. That's true.
I won't show you what's in my freezer right now that I made yesterday, but
Gotta find the balance. It all works out.
we made homemade ice cream last night.
You made homemade ice cream?
Got peanut butter ice cream.
Yum.
Okay,
Awesome.
here it is, guys.
Look at that.
So good.
Oh, I forgot my dressing. I gotta drizzle that dressing on.
That'll be the picture.
Yeah, for the gram.
For the gram.
The green stuff on it.
Green goddess.
Yeah. Well, that didn't drizzle.
Need your
That's what I
bottle.
need, my little thing. There we go. All done.
Look at
Oh,
that.
looks
See,
good.
Awesome.
you're a little bit-
Instagram worthy.
It's good.
On my IKEA plates that are all scratched up.
Real good.
Yeah.
Nope, can't see it.
Whoa. So, any questions on anything?
No, it looks
No,
good.
that-
It's almost ready.
You're like, please hurry.
It smells good over here, but
The sauce is awesome.
I think you need to ask for an Instant Pot for Mother's Day, Kimberly.
I think that's a good idea.
Somebody has a Mother's Day and a birthday coming up too.
Oh,
So
really? There we go. Double whammy.
Yeah.
It's a win for the whole family.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm a crock pot machine. I love my crock pot, but this Instant Pot seems pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's worn out a few crock pots.
Really? I've cooked roast in here. Like I can do, what's my barbacoa recipe? I've done that one. It takes about an hour
Wow.
for shredded barbacoa.
And how big is that one, did you say?
This one's 8 quart,
Okay.
and I got it at Costco.
Okay.
Cool.
And I had a 6 quart one for several years, and then my sister wanted one, and her family's smaller than mine, and I had been wanting a bigger one because I'll do soups and stuff in the winter.
Yeah, what I do too.
So I wanted a bigger one for that. I have a lasagna soup recipe that's so good. I'll have to do that one in the fall. But some of the other things I love are that barbacoa is super good. I really like that one. What are some of your favorites? I have this honey garlic chicken recipe that's so good. You make tacos out of it. That was delicious. The pulled pork sandwiches. What else? I've done like
Do you make the buffalo chicken in
the
there?
buffalo chicken.
I really like the buffalo chicken.
I've done, my kids will make mac and cheese, like homemade mac and cheese in here.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 2 minutes. Hard-boiled eggs take 2 minutes. Potatoes.
And they pill great. Like,
Baked potatoes takes, well, depending on the size of the potato, anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
Have you done sweet potatoes in there?
Yep, sweet potato all the time.
we really got into the creamer potatoes. They're
Yeah,
really
the
small.
little ones that at
Oh, yeah.
the creamers. So I have a good recipe for those. Like I'll cook them in here. It takes 6 minutes. And then you take them out and you smash them and drizzle them with olive oil and you put them in the oven. They get crunchy on the top. They're like French fries. They're so good.
That's what we need to do next Sunday right there.
I'll teach you how to make creamer potatoes. Last week we had, I have a really good homemade roll recipe that isn't healthy, but it's delicious. It's another one.
Everything in moderation, including moderation.
I'm a big believer in that right there.
So we had homemade rolls, and Chris's brother smoked some brisket for us.
Took him 18
baked
hours.
potatoes,
Oh my gosh. Yum.
and it was so good. But you know what I should do is I should look up like a cobbler or something that you could do in the
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
well, healthy-ish.
Healthy-ish.
We don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah.
We'll have to start,
another thing
we'll
that
have
I
to
do
start
in
a new
here.
channel to be where we get a little more decadent
Yeah.
on the treats.
Another thing that I've done in here is spaghetti squash.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes like, I love spaghetti squash in the fall because I'll make spaghetti or anything. I actually have a really good recipe for these spaghetti squash enchiladas, and they're delicious. So yeah, I mean, you can cook a spaghetti squash in like 10 minutes.
Wow.
So I'm just trying to give you more reasons on why you need one, Kimberly.
You're selling me. You're
I'll
selling
try
me.
to say.
Is that an Instapot brand or Instant Pot brand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it is Instant Pot, but everybody says Instapot.
Right.
It's Instant Pot.
Got it.
Yep.
Looking at
And it has a lot of fancy buttons, and I use none of them.
okay.
Manual button all the time.
That's why I haven't done it so intimidating looking.
I know. I think that's why I didn't use it for so long, and there wasn't a lot of recipes out there that were specific to Instant Pot when I first got mine. Now there is. There's tons.
Well, the good thing with pressure cooking, I would think, is if you mess up, you didn't spend all day
Right.
on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
But you
point.
still never want to mess up.
Well, and
Very
it will
fun.
keep your food warm. So like I'll start this in the morning if I know I'm going to be gone all day, or like when my kids were, before all this happened and my kids had practices and lessons and blah, 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 I would start it before they got home from school. and then all I had to do is shred it. Like it will keep it warm, and it's okay to keep it pressured. Like the pressure will release naturally, and it won't keep cooking.
Okay.
And then all I had to do is shred it and throw it in there together.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you. That was perfect.
Yes.
Very
That
fun.
was fun.
Good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And yes, I will be, maybe I'll put, when I post this, I'll have you guys comment on what you want the next one to be about.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
I'll give you some options. And you can vote 1, 2, or 3.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks,
Go
Matt.
enjoy your
Have a great
lunch.
Sunday.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
No problem.